Hello, Savannah. Hello, 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 and welcome to another edition of Kandily Kesha. It's Monday, y'all. It's another Monday. I hope you all had a great weekend. We had a very busy weekend. We had an opportunity to spend some time with my dear friend, Stella Smith, at her anniversary pop-up slam art market. We know that slam was delayed because of potential rain, but they will be in full effect this Saturday. So we are looking forward to seeing everyone out supporting our local arts and craft community. We also had the privilege of stopping by Lisa's Pieces, Lisa Vintage Extravaganza, the owner of Vintage Vortex on Bull Street. For all of your vintage finds, make sure you go and visit Miss Lisa Doyle. We also had the opportunity to celebrate the 50th birthday of Pastor George P. Lee III. Congratulations, sir, on 5 decades. And so here we are on another Monday, living to tell another story, living to serve again, living to advocate again, living to empower our people again. And tonight, I will be joined by 3 powerhouses, 3 women, 3 powerful women of the 5th District, Dr. Betty Jones, Dr. Pat Harris, and Miss Valeria Reynolds. They are Neighborhood Association presidents of Filer Park, Poplar Place, and Tatumville. And tonight we will be talking about the Fairground fiasco. I have these ladies coming on to set the record straight. Far too often, it is unfortunate that the message and the narrative that represent what we advocate for at City Hall and the work we do at City Hall, those of us who are in the minority, I should say, Alderwoman Miller Blakely, Alderwoman Bryant Lanier, and myself, when our voices are heard, it's usually skewed when it's on the front lines, when it's the headlines of our Savannah Morning newspaper or any of the media affiliates. WJCL, I have to say, those reporters do a far better job than any other media affiliate. So you might want to make that your news outlet of choice. And so the others can do better. It's not that they report always on our side, but they are more accurate. They are less biased, and they are not inclined to take pot shots at us. And so we appreciate them for that. We also want to make mention of Our Black Media now has a print publication, both electronically and physically. You can get Hello Savannah. I wonder where you got that. I'm flattered. But this magazine gives accounts of the latest updates and news that you can actually use. And so again, we want this to be a part of engaging as you become you can hear me. We want to make sure that you are being informed, that you are engaged, and that you are empowered. And so with that said, we have arrived at a place within the culture of the political sphere here in Savannah, whereby people are no longer inclined to listen to everything they are told or believe everything they are told. Right now, the benefit of where we are in Savannah in terms of trying to tell a story and paint a picture for what's really happening, you see what we are now experiencing is the fact that the rhetoric coming out of City Hall, does not match the reality of what we can see and feel here in Savannah. And so we know that we have a city that provides for an amazing and beautiful backdrop. for so many events, so many activities, from festivals to parades, holiday celebrations, weddings, this, that, and the third. We just want to make sure that the people who were born here, live here, raised here, graduated high school here, college here, people who got married here, raising their babies here, we want to make sure that those citizens, even those who retired here, we want to make sure that you have the privilege and the benefit of enjoying the Savannah that is so amazing for so many tourists and visitors to our city. And that's what we're advocating for. I am coming off of the cuff of attending neighborhood association meetings tonight. Unfortunately, as the at-large representative, oftentimes I have multiple meetings in the course of an evening. And in the course of the evening, when we have these neighborhood association meetings, they are sometimes at the same time or just 30 minutes apart. And so the messaging that we shared tonight with the residents was to be watchful and mindful of the maneuvering and the noise that we've been hearing about the potential for T-SPLOS to find its way on our municipal ballot. T-SPLOS is the Transportation Special Local Option Sales Tax that is being taunted by the chairman, Chester Ellis, to support his One Chatham goal. And so unless and until there is a better job done with regard to who will actually benefit from T-SPLOS tax increase, who and where the places where the infrastructure will be enhanced, or where we'll have enhanced transportation options. Unless you can feel it, unless you can touch it, unless it's demonstrated to you and your community and how you are directly impacted, I'm not certain you should be voting for a regressive tax. Right now, Savannians, the residents of the city as well as the county, we pay a great deal in taxes, property taxes, that is. And so we want to make sure, in the face of a fire fee increase, that the residents of Chatham County as well as Savannah are being served first by the taxes that you're already paying. And unless and until then, we should not be poised to support or vote for a tax increase. Now, speaking of votes, it is election season. It is election season. So I've been telling the citizens of Savannah that the best thing that ever happened to Savannah was for me to announce early my bid for becoming the 68th mayor of Savannah. You see, what that did and what it is doing is it will up the ante for the residents and the citizens of this city. So this is what most would consider a political game. And we have acknowledged that we didn't come to play the game, we came to change the game. But in changing the game, we elected to announce really early. We currently, the campaign to elect Kesha Gibson Carter mayor for the city of Savannah, we are driving this election season. We are owning this election season. And so as long as they are following, we are leading. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are leading. So the best thing that we were able to do, not for myself, November 7th, however it shakes out, whatever the results will be, although we know we will be victorious, we know we will be victorious, but whatever the results, what I want you, Savannians, to know, this is your time. This is your time. This is your time to do what we have taught you to do. This is your time to do what we have demonstrated by way of our advocacy. This is what we want you to do by way of our inspiring you to engage and participate in the political process. This is the time that you put pen to paper. This is the time that you send emails. This is the time that you pick up the phone and you make some calls, even if you have to leave a message on a voicemail. Now is the time that you document, that you request, that you demand, and you acknowledge what it is that you desire for your communities, for your groups, for your organizations. This is the time. This is the time. There isn't much that a politician will say no to, and that's a politician who has the power. And right now, we serve in that minority. But on your behalf, I will be happy. I will be happy to carry your voice to City Hall and acknowledge that this is your demand. I am happy to carry your voice to City Hall and acknowledge that this is your ask. Whatever it is, whatever the case, this is the time that you make those demands. Much like these ladies from the 5th District Fairground advocates. We're not asking, we're not begging, we're not pleading. They made a simple ask. They made an ask to remove the fairground item from the agenda, give the residents an opportunity to be informed of what's going on with the project, since there had been so many shifts and changes. And in short order, their 5th District representative did not listen to them, and we went forth with one of the three items. So right now, we want to bring them in, and let's start talking about where we are. We want to bring them in, and let's start talking about where we are. We want to bring them in, and let's start talking about where we are. Hello, Savannah. Hello, Tatumville.
Hi.
Hello, Poplar Place.
Hello.
Hello, Filer. Hello, Filer.
Filer Park. Can you hear me?
We're going to jump right
Park.
in.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you this time. So let's do this. If you're not talking, I want you to mute your phone. So let's do this. If you're not talking, I want you to mute your phone. So okay, that's better. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump right in here. And since we have a little bit of feedback and sound problems, we're going to talk one at a time. And if you're not talking, just mute your phone, and I'll do the same just in case it's me. But I'm so happy to have you on tonight. I have not done justice to where we are, where we started, and what's to come. I will say, upon my arrival onto City Council, I was first met with this project by Dr. Estella Shabazz. And we were so excited. We were so excited for the 5th District. We were so excited that we would be the council where this project would finally come to fruition. That through the many changes of city managers, as you know, we are now on our 4th city manager in 3 years and 4 months. And so it's changed hands that many times. And previous to our arrival, I think for nearly a decade, we have been toying around with this whole fairground project. I do know and remember that one of the main things that you all were advocating for were some community benefit, some economic driver for the residents. And that's where the whole notion of the sound stage, the movie production development idea that was sort of sponsored by former Representative Craig Gorton. And in short order, there was an incorporation or a presentation of the need for housing. And many of the residents opposed that option for obvious reasons, but you conceded. You conceded when the project was presented to you with the charrettes and the schematics that demonstrated all of these offerings, from recreation to the sound stage, this, that, and the third. And now, even after conceding, here we are now. So, Dr. Harris, I'll start with you. Can you fill in the gaps where I kind of fumbled a little bit? And you may want to give some history in terms of what happened and where we were before I was elected.
Well, that would probably take an eternity, excuse me, for me to go through all of it. And hi, my sisters in the 5th District Coalition. Thank you for joining Kesha Gibson Carter. And thank you, Kesha, for inviting us in tonight. this is a very important topic. We have been working on the fairgrounds for years, probably more than 10, 13, 14, 15 years, because it's an important project to us. We all live in the 5th District, and we do understand that other people might have their opinions. Other people might want to say whether we are right or wrong, but if you don't live in the 5th District, understand that we're taking this very seriously. So for many, many years, we gave up our time, we gave up our love life, we gave up our children, we gave up a whole bunch of things just to meet and make sure that whatever goes on that fairground is going to benefit the community that lives around that fairgrounds, as well as all of the residents of the 5th District. And we do know that fair every year, when it was presented to us, full of cotton candy and hot dogs and rides and everything else, we loved it. We loved it. But now it is gone. And with it being gone, we began to work on exactly what we wanted to go on that fairgrounds, what we wanted it to look like, what we wanted it to appear for the whole city of Savannah, because it's a beautiful piece of property. So we worked very hard to make our point, to make sure we were heard, and make sure that people understood why we wanted what we wanted. And so we presented our need and want to City Council. And I think they appreciated it and went for it. However, there are some people who are now engaged and want to turn it into a debacle of a mess. And I hate to say that, but Ms. Carter, I will be very honest with you, because I'm always as honest as I can be, loving and caring for the 5th District and all of the surrounding communities beyond the 5th District. We have embraced a lot of torture, a lot of torment, a lot of disgust, a lot of disrespect, a lot of disregard, a lot of everything. And so people might think, those people who think they're in charge of this right now might think that we are going away, but our fight continues. And we don't fight physically because we're too beautiful for that. We are going to fight professionally. That's what we're going to do. So all of the people who have defected what they wanted until we got the people that some of them wanted, and they can manipulate, maneuver, and do whatever they want to do, we are still here and we're still watching. And hopefully everybody who is in this on your podcast tonight will realize that we have a vested interest there, as many other people in Savannah, Georgia have a vested interest. So one of the statements that I want to make is that we do have some great people in Savannah, Georgia. We have some great people who are developers in Savannah, Georgia. And we don't always have to go out of the city and out of the state to bring people in. At this point, we are very embarrassed. We are hurt. We feel like we have been tossed to the side. We feel like nothing we have worked so hard for matters to many people, especially many of those on City Council. And so to this end, we feel like we don't even matter anymore. We did ask for an extension because we did not realize or even know that the vote was coming up on the last city council meeting. We had no idea until someone alerted me that it was coming up. Why? Why is that? Why weren't we told? Promises were made to us. Everybody who's on here, promises were made to us that someone was going to keep in touch with us. And I'm sure you all know that every district has representatives. We were promised. And now those promises have fallen on the ground. And some people are walking over those promises as though we don't even matter. But we do matter. We do matter. And sooner or later, everyone is going to know just how much we do matter, because we are fighters. And again, we don't fight physically. We're professional women. We're educators. We have groomed and taught and loved many children, especially children who've been on that fairgrounds, and we still do the same thing today. We're not giving up and we're not giving in. So for those individuals out there who feel like they are manipulating the process, I want you to wake up. And I want you to clearly wake up soon. We're not stopping here. We're not stopping here. We'll be in Atlanta, Georgia soon. And I want you all to know how much we love those people who have supported us and followed us and given us their love, because that's all it takes. The hatred, the demagoguery, everything that is happening to us is happening for a reason. Those people who are mistreating us now weren't mistreating us when they were meeting with us often, asking us what we wanted, telling us to put it in writing. So this project has turned out to be nothing that we expected. It has gone backward, and we're trying to bring it back forward. And so whomever is going to be upset by what I say, I offer no apologies for caring about the 5th District and the people who've supported us and my sisters and brothers in the 5th District Coalition. I make no apologies, but I am apologizing to the coalition and the leaders in the 5th District for the way we have been treated, overlooked, not represented, not cared for, not loved, not appreciated. We don't get paid, but it's our community, and we love our community. We've been there for a long time. We've worked very hard. We didn't slither like a black snake. We worked. And we haven't tried to take away anything from anyone. We're trying to protect our district from mess. And at this point, that is what the Fairgrounds is, a mess. So I'll yield to my sisters.
Thank you so much, Dr. Harris. And to your point, when you became knowledgeable of the fairground items, which were 3 on the agenda, we also became knowledgeable. I had no idea that we were at the point where it would be up for a vote. When an item is on the agenda, generally it's going to happen, especially when we are in the minority. We do not have the power. But when I saw it and I spoke with you and Dr. Jones, I asked, what did you know about this? And so in short order, after receiving your letter, I requested of the city manager that we take the items related to the fairground project off of the agenda until such time as the residents would feel comfortable, until such time as we would have the opportunity to communicate and to bring awareness as to any updates or changes with the project. Because as you stated, it's pretty much a mess right now. Dr. Jones, this project, essentially, is probably a part of the last.
Essentially is probably a part of the last. Essentially is probably a part of the last. Essentially.
Major properties in.
I can't hear you. When I take and turn off your voice.
Okay. So
when I turn off the mic on the computer, then I don't hear you. So when I turn off the mic on the computer, then I don't hear you. Are you able to hear me? The mic on the computer, then I don't hear you. Are you able to hear me? The mic on the computer, then I don't hear you.
Yes.
I'm new at this.
Do you have one device on or two?
And I don't know what to do because I'm on my phone. I'm on my computer, and I couldn't go through the link on the computer. However, as you always say, good afternoon or hello, Savannah. I will say hello, Savannah, 5th District and Fowler Park. And glad to see each and every one of you. I know the question that you were asking, Dr. Harris, when the fairground came up for sale, just to give a little bit more background, when it came up for sale, Mayor Jackson was in office at that time, and so we approached Mayor Jackson and asked them, as well as Van, he was an alderman at that time, about purchasing the fairground, because we were having a lot of crime going on in the city with our young people, for them to be able to find for them to have some place to go, as well as seniors, so that they could be safe and so that they would have something to do. So naturally, they were talking about how much it costs. We also knew that it was the largest piece of property in the city. And when we asked for it, we did not ask for it just for Tatumville, Fowler Park, Sylvan Terrace, and Poplar Place, but we were asking it for the community of Savannah. We thought about many different things when they would ask us what we wanted. We told them, but then later on, our mayor said that we didn't know what we wanted, and that's because when some people in the district was contact those who do not come to meetings. And our meetings are open. We are going back into person to person in May. They don't come to meetings, so they don't know all that's going on. And I try to make contact. We've done flyers. I've really did a mailing on my own to try to get them to come to the meetings to express their desires, and we just don't get them to come. And so when we were going forth with it, Dr. Shabazz, and with this letter, I ended up having to address not knowing about the vote coming up. She sent a letter to us. She sent an email to us stating that she was going to ask her constituents, will they please delay the vote? Well, you know the story to that. The vote was not delayed. Not only that, she was the one to make the motion for it to go on. In talking with the city manager, as well as I'm trying to think of Pat. I can't think of his name that we always talk to. But anyway, asking about what was going on the fairground, since I only live a block over from the fairground and passing by almost on a daily basis, what was going on the fairground. I would always be continually told that there's nothing going on the fairground, but I could see dirt being piled up. I could see stakes being put out, but nothing was going on. Plus they would have the music. I mean, the filming people coming and parking or out on the fairground, but yet and still our reply would be nothing should be going on the fairground. So then now we see even more dirt or whatever they're piling up over there is being there. and especially since the vote has gone forth. But one of the things that we have is with our older woman, Dr. Shabazz. She has backed off from us a long time ago. She gets upset, and we go and try to get other people to help us to formulate whatever it is we need. But then she's not serving us, and she hasn't served us for a long time now. Mind you, she came to us for this particular run that this particular thing that she's in now. What she ended up asking is, as a matter of fact, begging us to allow her one more chance, not to run anybody against her. However, she has done us worse this term than what she did the last term, because she'll bring you to a point, then after a while she back off. And I don't know whether the term pro tem has something to do with her not servicing the community. And some of the only certain ones get what they want. And then she started trying to pick the coalition apart by giving some more than others. And she has tried to do that and still is trying to do that. But there are many people who's very dissatisfied with her service, because people who have called, residents who have called, will be told that they need to call 311. When she decides to come to a meeting and they tell her their concerns, she doesn't even take pen or pencil. Then she wants the president to call her or email her what they said, because we're taking minutes and we're taking down what's being asked for. And then even after you send her the email to let her know, you still don't hear from her. Nothing is done. So we do have a concern, and and even when she asked if I will support her this term, I told her I just couldn't in good conscience support her. As far as caring about all the city council, that's just what I do, because I'm not going to go and preach, but but to have the love for people that we need to have. And I have a serious concern, especially for the people that live on very close and up personally to that fairground. We don't even see them. They don't come out. They don't say anything. And it could have a great impact, because you tell them, they tell us that they're not going to, no one's going to lose their home, but we don't know that. We don't know that. People that's on Medding Street, whose property facing Medding, we don't know that Medding Street, the traffic is already bad. So, they need to do a traffic report to find out just how it will impact the residents that live on Medding, especially with their front door on Medding Street. And most of the ones that way is in Tatumville. And we do have the Tatumville president on too, and she can explain that. Right. But it's much concerns that we have. And we're just tired of it. And we've been fighting a long time. Now, I'm not going to talk any longer because I have 70 some years that I can tell you about Fowler Park and some of the things that we have gone through. We're a Black neighborhood. Yes, we are. I'm not going to use anything else, but we are a Black neighborhood, and Black neighborhoods have been having a difficult time. And one other thing I would like to say is that she take credit for what other people have done. So we have a lot of stuff that has gone on with her, and she knew that we wanted, when P3 was selected, it was because of Craig Gordon, because he was the one that came to us and listened to what our needs, what we wanted on that fairground. So I'll yield to Miss Val.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Jones.
So I'll yield to Miss Val.
We really appreciate you for being with us tonight and giving your thoughts on the project and your historic experience as well as present day. We know that this is election season, and what I don't want experience as well as present day. We know that this is election season, and what I don't experience as well as present day. We know that this is election season, and what I don't experience as well as present day. We know that this is. I know. And
thank you for having us.
No,
We'll
no,
learn technology yet.
that's okay. That's okay. You are perfectly fine. We
We'll
are
learn
definitely,
technology yet.
that's what we want to do is we want to make it plain and keep it plain for all citizens of Savannah. You know, one of the things I said to Twickenham and to Magnolia Park tonight was what happens in one district is and should be important to another district because a lot of the issues are the same. A lot of the issues with regard to uh, uh, the traffic calming, the crime, the litter, homelessness, the environmental pollution, the invasion by way of developers who are petitioning council for special use permits. These are things that are common from District 1 to District 6. I can tell you that as your alderwoman at large who travel and visit these neighborhood associations and I hear these sentiments, but nothing pains me more than what we have experienced here in the 5th district with the fairgrounds, because this is essentially promises that are lost, lies that have been told, and maneuvering that must be undone. And that's why I wanted you all to be on tonight, because as I stated, the narrative that was portrayed and painted by the media is simply not true and not correct. And for there to be a thought or giving or consideration given to the fact that we somehow do not support affordable housing options simply because we did not vote for item number 25, which is to authorize the Community Housing Services Agency, that CHSA, to make a $1.9 million loan from the Savannah Affordable Housing Fund in support of the 2023 application to develop 64 affordable housing apartments for senior citizens on about 3.8 acres of land on the former Fairgrounds property at 4801 Medding Street. Now, this item, in addition to 2 other items, were on the agenda for last meeting, Thursday before last. These 3 items you all asked to be removed from the agenda until you could have a discussion, until you could be brought up to date, until you could be given the status of the project so that you can weigh in on the recent maneuvering. That is the issue. That's the issue. That was not done. Specific to item 25, a motion was made, albeit by your district alderperson, regrettably against your wish. Now, those are the facts. This doesn't have anything to do with politics or reelection or election. This is the simple fact. You all made a request. As I stated at the top of the show, this is election season. This is not the time where residents beg, plead, and ask for what they want. You make a demand and you tell us, you tell the city manager. District 5 is represented by 4 people: the mayor, myself, Alderwoman Blakely, and Alderwoman Lanier. You only need 5 votes to vote something up or to vote it down. You had my voice, Alderwoman Blakely, Alderwoman Lanier. You had our voices. You should have had your district person's voice. And between us, we should be able to lobby and say to the rest of council, hey, the 5th district doesn't want this. Now, the irony of all of this, and Ms. Reynolds, I will give you a chance to come in here and take us home. The irony of all of this, all of a sudden, Kesha and Alicia and Bernetta does not support affordable housing. These are the wayward women of the council. The irony of it is, this was the very first project that we were excited about tackling. And after you all conceded and said, okay, yes, we'll take the housing if you're going to do this, that, and the third. But I went to Tatumville and I said to the residents there, the very last thing that you wanted on the property, they're actually rolling out housing first. And so with that stated or decided, I went to the city manager who was fairly new. This is the 3rd city manager who on my watch was on this project. And I said, Mr. Melder, how can it be that the last thing the residents of the 5th District wanted being housing, how can it be that that's the first thing on the project that you're producing? What about the football, the basketball, the sound stage, the recreational outlets? What about all of those promises? He stated to me at that time that the developer needed the capital from housing to develop the remainder of the project. Well, my thought was, I thought in the RFP, the request for proposal, you got more points for showing your fiscal ability, your financial bearing. How could this person win when they didn't have the capital to start the project? For me, that was the first red flag. And then from there, we get this news that one of the principals on the project was being indicted, federally indicted. And then everything came to a screeching halt. There was no more information at every community center, at least at Tatumville, Poplar Place, and Philo Park. At every single meeting almost, there was a question, where are we with the Fairgrounds project? And of course, when I would offer my 2 cents, there was a rebuttal. I was even asked to leave a meeting at a church when you all were being sold something on the fairgrounds with regard to the hockey thing. This thing is all over the place. But I'll tell you this is the most coveted piece of property in Savannah right now. This is a developer's, a contractor, a banker's, an architect's. This is their gold mine. This project will make a millionaire or 2 or 3. This is how it's done in Savannah. And so when we first came onto council and the project was stalled, we saw how the maneuvering happened, and it went silent until Dr. Shabazz joined the ranks of Van Johnson and his 4. And when that occurred, that's when the fairground took off. We go to the Liberty City Community Center. I walk in, or was it the Civic Center? I walk in and I see the suspects, both usual and unusual. And I see Eddie and his buddies. I see some of Van's buddies. And I see some of the buddies that we met in Atlanta with Estella. And I'm like, okay, this is how this works. Everybody gets a piece of the pie. And that's all well and good if that's how you all want to play. But what about the 5th District? Where is the pie? How many slices does the 5th District get? And why isn't the 5th District driving this project? And so what we want to acknowledge, as we said again at the top of the show, this is an election season. There must be some serious opportunities for some individuals if they are not doing what you all have asked of them. We voted no to item 25. The other 2 items were taken off, but $1.9+ million of a loan to this developer so that they could compete for tax credits to the tune of 3 points for this project. Ms. Reynolds from Tatumville, can you share with us and kind of take us home here in terms of what your thoughts are as things are today and where you desire we go from here? And I want to say to you again, my apologies. I know you and the president from Summerside, you all sat through a long city council meeting only to be told that you could not speak, even after I asked for you all to, say something or represent the district while you were there. Thank you for engaging. My apologies again. What is it that you can share with us tonight?
Well, good evening. One thing I'm going to say is that as far as being in this capacity, I have not been here that long. So I'm not knowledgeable about the things that Dr. Harris and Dr. Jones know about. My thing is that if I'm trying to help people, I need to know the answers to questions that they will come and ask me. And that was my rationale for the vote being postponed. Let me ask questions so that when someone asks me something, I'll be able to answer it, and not him and her and not know anything. That was my rationale. Okay. As far as what is going on the fairground, my concerns is traffic, as has already been stated. My house faces Manning Street. So the influx of traffic will have an impact on me. That's one of the things that I need questions answered. The housing portion of it, we know that affordable, low cost, whatever the term is, needs to be for Savannah. But then, even as I sat in that meeting, I heard terminology that I did not know. If you made this is the type of housing you can afford. If you made from this area to this area, this is the type of housing you can afford. Okay. Now, how many people even think about that? How many people know that low income housing is up to 30%? I don't know that. If I hear affordable housing, I'm thinking that the average person who's working with making $7.25 an hour can't afford affordable housing. But that might not be the case. These are the questions that I need to know when someone is asking me. I can give them an intelligent, well thought out answer again, and not just give them something that confuses them more, and it looks like I don't know anything as well.
And so that's essentially where we are. And like I stated, politics aside, this is serious business. We're talking 67 acres. We're talking promises after promise after promise after promise of things that we actually need in the 5th district, things that we actually need in the city of Savannah, things that we actually need for our youth. And we have gone on now in excess of a decade. And for us to finally come to the place where we're playing political football with the lives of people is a total injustice. And so what we want you all to do, we want you to stay engaged, keep your voices on this. We want the others of the 5th district leadership. And I want to say, Dr. Harris, and I want you to, before we close, and I want you to close us out, but before you close, I want you to tell us a little bit about the formation of the 5th District Coalition. What was the motivation, and give a few pointers on how it was started. I'm talking 1st District Coalition. The 1st District actually now has a neighborhood council. So they have a bit of a coalition going. The 2nd District, we encourage you to join together. And do similar to the 5th district and the 1st district, the 3rd district, the 4th district, the 5th district. The 5th district. We all need a collective voice matters. Listen, I'm telling you, Ms. Reynolds, Dr. Jones, Dr. Harris, it is election season. You all are in a perfect position. I know you're frustrated. I know you're aggravated. I know you're angry. But when I tell you, you are in the best position possible to drive this fairground project. And you are now in position to make a demand and dare this mayor not to deliver. You dare your district alderwoman not to deliver. I will put everything I have on this election if they do not give you every single thing. Winning is not that important to me. My announcing My declaration for mayor is going to put so many people in a great position. Now is the time. Now is the time while the getting is good. Get it now, but still vote for me in November. Dr. Harris.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes,
Am I muted?
ma'am.
Okay. Okay, am I okay now? No?
We can hear you fine.
Okay, so Alderwoman at large, Kesha Gibson Carter, thank you so much for having us. I can tell you that the 5th District Coalition was a prayer and a hope and a dream. I always find myself in the midst of what God wants me to do, and He orders my every step, and He tells me what He wants me to do, and I don't talk back. I don't speak back. I might ask why every now and then again, but I do understand. So I can tell you that the 5th District Coalition has probably been together for about 5 or 6 years, maybe a little less, but we've made some great moves. We have organized to be the voice of the people in the 5th District. Not every president is a member of the coalition. They can be if they choose to be. But even with that, the 3 of us here tonight are presidents of some neighborhood associations. And so with that being said, we're double dipping into the presidency and the coalition. We're fighters, and we're going to fight for the 5th District. And we don't fight physically, just as I said before, we don't fight physically. But I can tell you this particular project has broken our spirits. And we might be bent, but certainly we're not broken altogether. And our spirit for the 5th will never be broken. The individuals who are members of the coalition give their time, their patience, everything that they have to help me to make sure that we are doing what is expected of us. And I certainly appreciate everything that they're doing. I can tell you, Alderwoman Carter, that we are working very hard. I can tell you with a smile, Alderwoman Carter, that we're going to be at that Fairgrounds every month from now until election time. I can tell you, Alderwoman Carter, that we are excited to be excited. And I want everybody to wake up. Stop wearing your feelings on your sleeves. Know who your candidates are. Know what their platforms are. You know when somebody is fooling with you. You know when things are not appropriately done. The 5th District, from Project Duran, and Alderwoman Kesha Gibson Carter, wait till I get to Project Duran. When I tell you, it's going to be some trouble in the camp. And I say it live because you don't know what I know. But I can tell you this much. When I say we're fighters and we don't fight physically, we're professionals. All 3 of us are products from Savannah Chatham Public School System. And have we done a great job? Of course. I know my children, some of them are watching, and I love each and every one of them. And if I call them, I know they're coming. Because when we go back to that Fairgrounds, I expect to see you. It's not like you didn't skip school or waited till you got home and you went to that fair every night. Don't tell me, because I already know. Now I'm calling you out to help us preserve our district and to help eliminate some of the foolishness that has gone on. And for all you good people who don't live in the fifth district, but y'all trying to maneuver, operate, and do whatever you do, know and understand, we already know who you are and whose you profess to be. We already know. And we're going to start calling names after a while because you've already told us who you are. You don't live in the fifth, but you have a vested interest in the fifth. And I want to know who gave you that vested interest. And I want to know why we're not represented as we should be in the fifth district and why we're having to fight on our own for our people. That's why the coalition exists, because anytime somebody calls us, we're going to jump on it. We're all that we have. We have no one else. And I'm not saying anything that I'm ashamed of saying. I'm telling you the truth. And the truth will hurt some people. The manipulating, the maneuvering, the backstabbing, the disrespect, the disregard. We know who you are, and we're not afraid. We're not afraid. And we're going to protect what we've protected for many, 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 many years. We don't care what community you're in. We all belong to God. And to God be the glory for everything that he's done, everything he's going to do, and everything that we're asking for. So I want y'all to wake up and stop believing everything that you hear about people. Because some of the people who are telling you stuff, and it's the truth, you don't want to hear it. But y'all better wake up. Because we're headed for a destruction. Okay? Thank you, Alderwoman Kesha Gibson.
Thank you much, Dr. Harris, Dr. Jones, Ms. Reynolds. We really appreciate you all stopping in tonight. I want to say this, and I want to remind you of where we are yet again. We know what happened and is happening to the Weeping Time property. And Dr. Jones, thank you for your advocacy on that work as well and activism. We know what happened and is happening with the Yamacroft property. And here we are now with the Fairgrounds. Are you following me? Do you see the commonality? Is there a theme here?
Yes.
In your words, Dr. Harris, we have to wake up. We are not doing this for any other reason other than fairness and giving everyone their rightful share in their due respect and honor. And it is high time that we value the 5th district. The 5th district is among one of the most needed districts in our city, in that it's the largest district. The 5th district historically has been underserved, underrepresented, and ignored.
Yes. Yes.
This is an opportunity for us as a council to make it right. Consider this, and I close. The 1st district has been and is represented by Dr. Estella Shabazz, who's been on council now 12 years, going on 12 years. The 1st district, and now the entire city, the 1st district was once represented by Mayor Johnson, who's now mayor. 2 of the longest serving tenured council persons on council today represent the 2 most impoverished districts in the city, the 1st and the 5th. Good night, Savannah. I love you.
like that. I 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 like that.